Hello, oh yeah, boys and girls, it's Michael again from Miniature Painting, and this channel is becoming a little bit less about miniature painting, but that's going to change all back in a couple of days, or perhaps a couple of weeks, but anyhow, in a couple of future. That's not a sentence, is it? Who cares, right? Suppose you care because you're watching. Since you're watching, be sure to subscribe, because I know I'm talking about you there, and you are here for the 5 top games you should reconsider when you don't want to play any GW games anymore. So stay tuned. So we'll start at number 5, as you can see right here, which is a 5 with the Firefight rule set. It's still in beta. It's already better, faster than 40k rules, which happen to be a little bit clunky and use up too many datasheet looking up and dice rolling instead of just playing the game. Firefight delivers to be a fast game, pretty compatible with all the Mantic rules and systems you have at the moment, and it's really a thick part of a pretty big lore which concerns the Warpath universe. Warpath Firefight. Oh! The main reason I called this one because the rules are free, so you can try them and play them whatever you like. At number 4, there is the miniature agnostic games. Miniature agnostic games are basically games that don't use their own miniatures to play those games. Since you already have a lot of Games Workshop games, I would highly recommend to check them out, just because you have enough miniatures, probably from other ranges as well, but mostly fit basically every rule set, as long as you have a setting which complies to the miniature. And there's some pretty nicely hidden gems within the agnostic game community. And of course you can print them yourself, which is really cheap. Number 3. Number 3. Oh great. See, it says right here, this is my cheat sheet. If you like building houses, if you like building ruins, and if you like building stuff, then Frostgrave is your go-to game. You can use it on a really big map, you can use it on a small map. It's basically the same. It's treasure hunting versus another treasure hunter, and you will compete until there is a winner. There is an apprentice sorcerer, there is a sorcerer, and there is a warband. They're small. You can use whatever miniatures you like, so it's basically miniatures agnostic as well, but this is one of the most popular ones around. Awesome. Yeah. Number 2. Oh, this is also 2. Malifaux. Malifaux already had enormously cool miniatures. They're a little bit difficult to get into to get to glue together, but when you do, you really have some really cool miniatures, and the game is pretty solid. It recently came out with a 3rd version, which is already recently, should be around 1.5 to 2 years ago. It's getting more and more traction as we speak, because, well, you basically can just buy a whole warband and a little upgrades, and you can just start playing whatever you like. Same goes for games like Mythos or Wild West Exodus, which is a really awesome game as well. Basically, it's the Wild West version of Malifaux with less magic and more occult stuff and more technology. So we started with just Malifaux, and we ended up with Malifaux, Wild West Exodus, and Mythos. Mythos is based around the Cthulhu mythos. Well, you should try that as well. That's pretty nice as well. It says Kings of War. Now there is a gem. This is the 5th one, and a really big number 1 for me. Why? because it's basically Warhammer Fantasy with better rules, faster rules, less clunky rules, less finding stuff, and really easy to get into gameplay with really hard to master tactics. There is already texts and logs and vlogs and video logs and podcasts and know everything. This is basically the most popular war game you have for fantasy roleplay. What am I talking about? Fantasy war games. There is a vast array of really cool miniatures, and I do have to admit that the older miniatures from the start of Mantic aren't as good as the newer ones, but don't let that stop you, because you can basically use every model which is on the market. So if you have some old Warhammer Fantasy models, you can also use them, but why the hell don't you use the original new models which Mantic brings out? Just for instance, right now the Halflings are coming out, and they have a really cool Salamander army. Oh, that one. The Salamander army. You should check that out as well. Play those games, or at least check them out. You know, they could just be up your alley, and they just could be a cool game. They could just be cheaper, and you can print your own miniatures. You don't have to buy one for £50, or you don't have to buy a plastic model for 500 something quid. So get your ass to the shop and see what it's all about. May the dice be forever in your favor. Till next time, bros. Bye bye. I'm not going that way. I'm going back down again, you know.